thanks everybody for joining today. As Kate said, my name is Michael O'Grady. I will today present how really Salesforce can improve the gamer and player experience and tackling with this existing COVID and post-COVID environment that we live in. So the objective of today really for Kate and I is to talk you through how do you analyze a business like Salesforce, not specifically Salesforce, but a technology provider with the CRM capability across the finding players, acquisition of players, and keeping players and loyal players, to also empowering your staff and employees. So we're going to try and talk you through how you do that, and it's difficult. Whilst you're doing that, we're then going to help you select a service partner or an implementation partner, such as iTechArt, and the challenges of trusting a partner to deliver the technology to empower your business. So that's the objective for today. But as a start, we're going to kick into introducing ourselves a bit further. I said my name is Michael. I'm with Salesforce over 4 years. I work in the Mediterranean market. That for us incorporates Malta, Cyprus, and Greece. My first love is Malta. That's where I found myself initially and engrossed in the gaming vertical. So I have spent 4 years just really working on the system of engagement that Salesforce offers, sitting on top of the gaming technology or your back office gaming providing technologies that we'll touch on again later on. Prior to Salesforce, I was with Oracle over in Australia for quite some time, where I lived for 10 years. And prior to that, I worked in another couple of technology companies, SAP being the most notable. The team in the Mediterranean isn't just me, so I have Frankie and Owen looking after Malta with me. I have Maria and Frankie in Cyprus as well, and George and myself looking after Greece. So for the past 4 years, like I said, it has been a terrific experience engrossing myself in gaming, and this is where most of the Salesforce emphasis goes on the Mediterranean, but also meeting amazing partners like iTechArt. So with that, Ekaterina, I'd love to have you introduce yourself and your business, please.
Thank you, Michael. So as I mentioned already, my name is Ekaterina, but it's also Kate, which is much easier and pronounceable. So I'm responsible for business development of Salesforce services at iTechArt. And before joining iTechArt, I was working for a different Salesforce consultancy. So basically, altogether, I have like an overall experience of more than 5 years with the Salesforce. And I believe that that's approximately the time which I've known Michael. So iTechArt is a company, is quite a huge custom software development company and a Salesforce Silver consulting partner. And we are international. We are, at the moment, you can find us in the US, in the UK, and in Belarus. And we work with the companies from all over the world. But we are quite active in the Mediterranean region, and that's where we work together with the Mediterranean Salesforce team as well, quite often. And in the Mediterranean for iTechArt, it all started with Malta, and which means like almost automatically that we've been working a lot with iGaming companies.
I don't want to get I think I've got a couple of customers from Cyprus and Greece on this call as well, so I don't want to annoy them. Super important as well. In fact, we're working on one of the largest gaming companies in Greece as well. So yeah, and this is what Ekaterina and I focus on a lot, is the expansion out of gaming, not just in Malta.
Absolutely, absolutely. So yeah, probably let's then dive deep into the conversation and move forward with our questions. I think we have a unique, a very good situation today when we have a representative of a software provider and an implementation partner on one call. And it's a good chance for us to ask and answer the questions which are the most topical for iGaming companies when they just start their digital transformation or they just continue it. So yeah, as usually we all start with a selection of a software. I would suggest that we start with my questions to Michael. And Michael, my first question to you: how does technology like Salesforce help companies during and post-COVID?
Yeah, it's something we discussed actually recently enough, but it's got two factors to it really. One is helping your employees. So all the businesses considering Salesforce, there needs to be a lot of empathy towards your employees. A lot of the businesses are still working from home, even though I know Malta opened up the offices, closed them down again. I think they're open again now, but allowing your employees to work from home. So Salesforce is almost 20 years old as a business, and it was founded on the pretense that it was software as a service. So there's no, as you know, Ekaterina, the old days of legacy implementation, that on-premise, bulky, takes a year to put into your business is gone. This is a nimble software world where you can have a username, password, and a Wi-Fi, and you're up and running using the technology. So Salesforce does empower mobility. It's our mobile first is one of our taglines to the business. But Salesforce also offers the employees of gaming businesses a user interface that is easy to use, simple clicks, getting around. And with the frustrations that lie in business already, having a simple user interface is crucial, especially when you're selecting from multiple vendors. Finally, I think what technology providers like ourselves are offering is the ability to really use the data that's available to you through artificial intelligence. So bots is a clear and simple thing. So if we can do the menial tasks that employees would normally have to do, lost password or dead heat in a bet or something like that, if a bot can manage that and your employees can manage the more serious things, that's super important as well. Also, predictive analysis in artificial intelligence, facing the data and letting you know what's happening and what's not happening in your business, not just at that executive level, but all the way down to the front line users. So that's on the employee side. Then on the player side, what we're empowering is really, if a technology like Salesforce can capture your information, not just from the back office, but also your engagement to the website, to the application, to the game, your interest in sportsbook and not casino or something. If we can capture that and get a true 360-degree view of your player, then that helps your player in the long run, because you're engaging with the right content at the right time to the right player, and importantly, opening up the channel. So that's another thing your players are now looking to is this omni-channel approach. As we digitalize gaming more so, and the bricks and mortar of betting stores are being reduced, the channels are opening up, and these 16-year-olds are opening up new channels all the time. WhatsApp, Viber, Google Chat, everything is now open, and the customers, the players expect to be engaging through that. So that's the kind of, and really, from the player perspective, especially in this vertical, because it's so scrutinized, is my data safe? The trust factor, which is one of our 4 key foundations as such of Salesforce, which is trust. So selecting a vendor, you need to be trusting of them, and trust is also, with COVID again, it's a key thing, as you know, Ekaterina.
Thank you, Michael. And you mentioned data. Just a question here. I mean, if I already have a great back office gaming platform in place, and do I really need a CRM tool then? I mean, what's basically the difference between that back office system and gaming platform and the CRM?
Yeah, we're asked this question so often, and sometimes a marketing tool is called CRM in gaming, or the PAM is called your CRM in gaming, or your audience segmentation tool is called your CRM. A true CRM is the ability to have actionable data. So if you look at your back office gaming system, the IGTs and the NetEnts and whatever they provide, it's the spins, wins, deposits, etc. All that data is super important. That's what the player is doing. But it comes into a back office as such, a system of record, we call it in Salesforce, and it's a bit static. What Salesforce does is a layer of engagement in what we call this customer experience layer, is the ability to make that data actionable. So now, as the player, let's say, has deposited money and it hasn't come through into their account, if I call through as a player, or if I go through the chat, or if I send a WhatsApp message, the agent on the other end will be able to have visibility of who that player is. Is the player VIP? Is the player a responsible gambler? Is the player a potential fraud risk? that data is crucially important. That isn't really kept in that back office, but also the ability to see that player has availed of a promotion on the bonus engine weekly for the past year, but last week didn't avail of it. So whilst I'm managing a ticket because my deposit hasn't gone through, I as an agent can do this kind of snowball customer service effect, manage that first time case resolution because we've access to the data from the back office to say that deposit was done then. We understand it, we'll get to resolution, but also understanding why aren't you availing of that bonus over here, which you normally do. So it's lots of moving parts in our system of engagement. And I hope that was clear, Kate.
Absolutely. Now you convinced me that I should definitely have a CRM system in place, but it's still not. I mean, it's not there. That's now when I know that I need a CRM. My next question is, how do I choose it? As at the moment there are so many options here in place in the market, and which one should I choose? What are the key factors? How do I make a decision?
Yeah. So not are there just constantly games evolving in the iGaming world. There's a lot of technology vendors coming to market as well, and disruptors, and this is positive. A disruption is good for market. So there's, again, I bring it to kind of a two-pronged approach to this. So a lot of smaller ESMB companies are looking for more modular solutions. I've got a challenge on my affiliate program management that I want to, and Hero Gaming were on earlier, and they would be a customer of ours on this Power Hour. They manage their affiliates through Salesforce, but there's smaller tools out there that could potentially do more modular management of your data. So whether it's customer service I'm looking at, whether it's marketing, whether it's sales for your VIP or whatever element that is, whether it's business intelligence, what Salesforce offers and what the kind of the companies with a broader vision, they're looking for more of a platform play into their digital transformation. And what a platform play means is streamlining the data and having a single platform that from your acquisition and retention and loyalty of a player, it's under the one platform. So the movement of data is simplified and it's more seamless. It also gives you the ability to scale at a much broader level. And a lot of the gaming companies who join us today are rapidly growing, even though COVID has hit and it's delayed us some because of live sport, particularly for sportsbook. The casinos picked up, or the esports has picked up, or other elements that isn't that live sport, but they're constantly changing. So having the ability at a platform level to scale as your business grows up or comes down is what Salesforce offers. But it's across the whole journey, the customer experience journey or the player journey. It's not just on a single level, and that's important, which helps you get that 360-degree view of your player. That's the golden chalice,
Absolutely, absolutely, and to get the 360-degree view, it's essential that we have the data in the CRM. And then my next question is, I mean, what are the methodologies of getting data to a CRM to make it powerful? Otherwise, there is like no use in it.
Yeah, and whilst I go with the platform play, there will be other systems around, like we've mentioned already, the back office or the PAM or whatever system sits and collects that bet or spin or win. So we have kind of three different ways with to collate data. One is just your bidirectional API connection, which iTechArt will be very familiar with, grabbing an object from one system and dropping it into another. Easy. And that's for lesser volumes and lesser objects. The other way is data on demand. It's what we call an Odata Connector, which is, can you hear me, Kate? Kate, can you hear me?
I can, but I believe that you cannot.
I can continue on if you. I can hear you, Kate, but there's something that's come up on my screen blocking my vision of view. So.
Oh, but it's good that you can hear me.
It's perfect.
Because, okay, I cannot see myself anymore. It's just okay. I think we can continue.
Let's continue till we're told otherwise. So the Odata Connector, which is a data on demand, is really the ability to pull data from a source. It wouldn't be Salesforce, another source, face it in Salesforce or your CRM. And when you close down that player or that case or that account or whatever you've opened up in Salesforce, and it's in your user interface, when you close that down, the data resides back into where it came from. So that's what we call data on demand. It's super. It sounds super easy, and it is. It's a simple connection. We call it a Salesforce connector. The other piece is more complex, and it's for the larger businesses, which is an any-point integration platform. We acquired a business called MuleSoft some time ago to do that higher volume, that heavy lifting integration with huge data in your back office, that system of record, or ERP integration, or things like that. So there's other tools other than MuleSoft, which is owned by Salesforce, like Jitterbit, which does it really coolly as well. But the idea of using these integration tools is again going back to that 360-degree view. That's your vision of the golden chalice, as such, as what you're trying to achieve. Once you can understand who your player is, it gives you the ability to engage them correctly and retain them and grow them. And by growing them ergonomically like that, it's good for brand, you know. And with the competition in marketing, iGaming, it's crucial, or else you'll be left behind. So that's. I think we're conscious of time here. I might come back over to you if you don't mind, Ekaterina. I know we had one or two more questions.
Absolutely. Thank you, Michael.
No, my pleasure.
We're now really, I mean, everything is clear with the CRM part.
Yeah. So if we've helped you pick that, and by the simplicity of it sounds easier. We've done it in a short piece of time, but if we've selected the vendor now, how then, Ekaterina, do you differentiate yourself, and how do businesses in this iGaming world select a partner to deliver? So I've trust a technology provider for the customer experience layer. How do they differentiate the partners that are available to them?
Thank you, Michael. It's a really great question, as sometimes the choice of software is perceived as just like as a full success, but it's a complete success. But in fact, I would say that it's just 50% of success, and then the 50% really depend on the right partner. And quite often in my practice, I see the situations when, for example, the company has a really powerful tool in place. And basically they have everything to use it, but it's not set up in the right way. It does not reflect the main business processes, and basically it's not adopted, and no one uses that. And in the end, what happens? I mean, they either just are thinking about canceling the subscription, or they are struggling to use that tool in any way, but they are unhappy in any situation. And that's basically the situation when the right partner comes into play, and when it's crucial to have the right partner. And it's the partner selection process is not that easy, I would say. And of course, there are many factors to consider. It can be the partner's location, the language they speak, price, of course. But if I were just to name a few, the most important, I would start with first of all, the domain knowledge. It's really great if the partner has already worked with the companies in your sector. And for example, if you're an online casino, just try to ask about the experience of other online casinos. If you're a sports betting, ask about sports betting. So, yeah, don't be too strict, I would say, but because sometimes, especially if your expertise is quite narrow and you don't have so many competitors in the market, so lucky you, first of all, then sometimes you can also talk to partners who have experience in verticals with similar processes, because sometimes it might sound weird, but sometimes, for example, a CRM implementation for a trading company is really very similar to the one you have in an iGaming company. So sometimes it's essential to consider those options. The second factor, which I would name, is partnership status and certifications. almost like every software vendor and Salesforce for sure has a partnership program in place, and with multiple tiers. And usually the higher the tier is, or usually the higher the tier is, it means that the vendor recommends that particular partner for its tool implementation and configuration. And that is some kind of a guarantee of quality. And the second thing is, and I mentioned that at the very beginning, because we are, for example, iTechArt is very proud to be a silver Salesforce consulting partner for that reason as well. And the second thing to pay attention to is in that space is certificates, as certificates basically guarantee the quality at a personal level. So you're sure that this way you're sure that the developers which work with you, they are knowledgeable and that they know the tool. Michael, can you still hear me? Oh, I can see you again.
I'm just having technical difficulties here. Sorry, Kate.
Okay.
But I could hear you again.
Perfect. Then I just move forward, and of course there are many other factors, but if I just were to name the three, the most important, the third one, it might sound a little bit naive, but I still believe that that's important, and even it probably could be the first one, and that's the partner's creativity, their approach, and their enthusiasm about working with you. What I mean here, when you have those all pre-sales conversations, ask them to prepare a proposal, ask them to guide you through that proposal, and really ask them many questions and have a look. Because usually, I mean, if they would like to work with you, if they're excited about the project, if they really want to establish a long-term partnership, and they really want your name in their portfolio, you can read that, you can easily see that, and that really increases the success rate of the project. So even
No, sorry. I was just going to ask, just on the success, what does that success then look like? What does a successful implementation look like, Kate?
It's a very good question, and quite a massive one. So I would say that a successful implementation is the situation where the system, or when the system is 100% user adopted, when all the main business processes are reflected in the system, when the data is clean and up to date, and when your employees' lives became easier after the implementation than before the tool was implemented. But here, talking about the successful implementation and in general the process, you need to keep in mind that the software is one important thing. The partner is the second important thing, but there is something else. And that something else is your attitude and your approach in that digital transformation process. And that, and here, just let me tackle the topic of COVID-19 again a little bit. Before COVID-19, when we talked about digital transformation, usually, in fact, it meant the digitization, and just the main focus was on the systems. So everyone was crazy about updating their system, upgrading them, to getting rid of legacy systems. But basically, that approach, and especially in that COVID-19, in the COVID time, I mean, that's a little bit not a priority anymore. What should be in the center of digital transformation is basically like relationship transformation. And by relationship, I mean a relationship with your customers, with your partners, with your employees. And in that case, digital transformation project is not perceived as just an IT initiative purely connected to software and systems, tools, and stuff. So because now what I notice quite often is that like disruption between operations departments in the company and IT departments, and sometimes no one really believes in that initiative. So and in that case, of course, I mean, no one from sales, marketing side, customer support side,
exactly,
it's just seen as purely IT initiative. And in that case, of course, the success rate is quite low.
Yeah, you need the business leaders at the executive to speak down into the key stakeholders, down to the frontline workers, to get the initiative to work. So
Absolutely.
I 100% agree. But we have run out of time. I do apologize I know you and I both had a couple more questions. I apologize for some of the technical errors there, but it is our pleasure to speak to you all today. we really hope you got, again, going with what we wanted you to exit with is, how do I pick a software provider and how do I put that software then into my business? So if there's any further questions, I think there is some in the chat as well we won't get to, but please reach out to us directly on LinkedIn or through the iGaming Power Hour team. So thank you so much for your time. Really appreciate it. And Kate, you're a legend.